Well, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Traders Around the World. Welcome to your live trading session here with yours truly, We're going to start off with a pre-market briefing, move into live market fire, and then, of course, the lessons learned. Did you miss me? I missed you. I hope you enjoyed your time at the summit last week. There was an incredible amount of deals and giveaways for prop accounts. I hope some of you got some of that. And yeah, it was a great summit. So let's get right into it. Looks like folks, hey there, Mike Carr. I'm glad you're back. All right. Looks like so many folks are already logged in, ready to go. The rooms are all full. So I want to get the show on the road over here, as I'm a couple of minutes delayed starting here, making sure all the tech is up right and all my trading systems are ready to go. So it looks like folks are good to go. I'm happy to hear that you had a great time at the summit last week. It was the biggest one yet that we've done. And it was an incredible number of giveaways and value provided back, on top of the speakers, of course. All right, let's get into it, folks. Everything that I do and say here is for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. I'm not a registered financial advisor or representative. You must consult yours before making any trading decisions. Trading involves risk, not just reward, risk of loss. Trade with money you can wholly afford to lose. When I trade, it's always in line with my risk trading plan, which is unique to me. It might not be suitable to you. Consult your registered financial advisor and get a risk trading plan. When I discuss past trades taken, do live trades in front of you, come up with plans or projections for future potential trades, whether I'm doing so with respect to a live cash account, a demo account, or a prop trading account. I'm doing it all for education and insight purposes only. It's not meant as advice. And finally, if I poll you in the chat and I give you an average response back to that poll, the sentiment there is not necessarily indicative of the sentiment of the entire group, just those responding. I don't audit the chat, so do take that stuff as anecdotal. And it's great to see everyone here as well. Looking so much forward to navigating and trading markets here with you. So let's get right into it, folks. I'm going to start off with, let's actually just start off by looking at the bigger picture here and getting an idea of the flavor of the day. At the end of the day, we're in a market that is stressed on a geopolitical front. It's stressed from headwinds facing AI names and mega cap names. And we've got earnings this week, especially on Wednesday. We've got Google and Alphabet and Tesla are providing their earnings, and then Intel is on Thursday. So there's a lot of busyness with respect to earnings kicking into higher gear this week. So how are we starting off the week? Well, I like to start off by taking a look at currency direction to give me a flavor of whether or not I've got a tailwind behind equities or a headwind in front of them. And what we've got with the euro coming down is a little bit more of a headwind at this moment in time. If the euro is coming down, that means the dollar is going up. And when the dollar is going up, usually you've got a bit more of a headwind to markets. Now, it's not dramatic, right? The euro is down 0.16%. So I'm not looking at anything right now that is traumatic or that dramatic, but it's more of a headwind than it is a tailwind. Okay, so that's one thing that I'm going to start off with. The next thing that we can move over to and take a look at is just against a commodity-laden currency, how's the US dollar doing? So is the Canadian dollar strengthening or weakening against a commodity-laden currency? Right now, we can see that it's actually weakening. The USD is gaining against the Canadian dollar. Now, does that mean that the geopolitical strife or issues that we were dealing with are going down for this market morning? Let's go and take a look at oil and get a sense of that. So there's oil, and you can see that it's had a push up and a pull back down to just under unchanged. It's actually down about 0.25% right now versus Friday's close. It did make a higher high, though, faced resistance and came down. So what does that mean? Well, it simply means that the geopolitical negatives or headwinds to the market have lessened for this market morning into the open of trade. And we obviously had a sell down on Friday. So we're in an oversold bounce off of that sell down. So the oversold bounce off of that sell down is something that we have to now get our arms wrapped around. I'm not going to spend too much time on gold or silver here, but I will just make a couple of comments here going, hey, if the geopolitical strife is coming down and the dollar is strengthening and we're seeing equities in an oversold bounce, can precious metals glow a little brighter? Well, clearly they can. Silver is up about 1.3% at this moment in time, but I don't think it's the focus for trades this market morning. Gold is very indecisive at this moment in time as well. It's toggling around flat at this moment. I don't think that there's a whole bunch there. I think it's really all about directionality on the equity indices. And if we look at it from the top down, we're in this long-term uptrend channel on the primary market, the S&P E-minis. This goes back to October of 2022. The reason it's here is we're fighting to get back into the uppermost quadrant of this 4-quadrant channel. What does that do? It puts us in an area where it's either perform or plunge. So either buying begets buying or it doesn't. And directionality is a lot cleaner, usually when we're up in this quadrant. Let's zoom in on that right now and get a little tighter view of it. So we're not in that uppermost quadrant. That would be above that pink line. We've got resistance of that set of nested volume profile histograms that you've heard me talk about for weeks now, well, months really. And the magic number is still 75.55 on the ES. Above 75.55, the door opens for more upside. While we're below there, we're in an oversold bounce. We don't really have the traditional tailwinds that you would expect, right? We've got the dollar gaining against the commodity-laden currencies and gaining against the euro, but we've got oil coming back down from its intra-session highs. So that's given a little kick up. That's added, it's a removal of a negative, but it's added effectively a tailwind to the market to support the oversold bounce that we're in. Let's go look at this through the lens of the NASDAQ. And just one more note on the ES. If we are to come down and find ourselves below roughly round number, 7,500, there's probably going to be more problems. And below that 7,500 number, down to the 7,470-ish area becomes a high probability. So that's one note for you there. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Here's the NASDAQ E-minis. I'm not going to go to the big picture. That long-term chart looks very similar to the ES, but we'll just take a look at it where it is right now. Currently up about just shy of 1%. And for those of you that are curious as to what these numbers are on the side of the screen over here, these are the weekly pivot levels using two types of strategies, a DeMark and a Fibbo weekly pivot strategy. It's superimposed on a daily chart. So these are daily candles. We are pushing up into the center or balance area, which I also call the mattress, which, you take money from under the mattress, you take it out from under, you're putting it to work, it's likely going to appreciate. You take money from above the mattress, you put it under, it's likely going to depreciate, scared, risk off under the mattress. Ready to go and fight, risk on above the mattress. So we're trying to get above the top lip of the mattress. The mattress has got a configuration though. That configuration, this week is purple is above blue. That's usually a bearish configuration where, 2/3 of the time we're going to come down and see the DeMark support 1 pivot level tested during the week. So that's an ominous setup. It's the same for the ES. So we have to be mindful of that. And the way that I think that the market's going to try to play itself out is hold up into Wednesday's earnings. Wednesday, we get some volatility with earnings, perhaps a push up towards all-time highs or headed towards that area, but not sustainable. That's the way that I see the market playing out. But if we're going to be day trading this market morning, what do we want to know? We want to know that we're above structures of resistance. Well, 29,000 and about 80 points would be that number next for us to get above, and we've already perforated it. Let's go now and take a look at this using technical indications on top of price action. So what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on the NQ to begin with over here and make sure that we've got the right stuff in play, to help with decision making here. So we'll start with the daily chart. So one of the features of the daily chart that we have to be aware of, and we're using a couple of technical indicative sets on top of price here. We're using the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit, and we're using the Triple S Toolkit. Okay, so the Triple S Toolkit is the indication in the subchart. It's the subchart, and on chart, it's the triangles and the double dots. The Champion Trend Pack Toolkit is that buy zone plaque. It's the Champion Cross Zone. It's things like range breaker, wealth signal, breakout forecasters. And we've also got the speed lines and the channel. The channel that I have on screen is the moving support and resistance channel, but it's the technical damage tool version of that. And when we're in magenta and not green, it means that there's some technical damage going on, which means technical signals are a little less effective. Now we're looking at a daily chart. Okay, daily chart, price action came down, closed below the bottom of that channel 2 days in a row. That happened on Thursday and Friday. Now, what Rob says is you get two closes below the channel, you're likely changing direction. So we went up, we went sideways. Are we now confirmed down? I think that this is an odd duck type of week because we've got Google and Tesla on Wednesday in terms of earnings. So I want to be open-minded to a back test of falling resistance, i.e. price rises to back test falling resistance, and then perhaps gets rejected and comes back down again. But the idea is back test falling resistance, and it's already started, right? We've already come up to the fast speed line, which is that green, that is the cyan or blue line right there. We've already come up to it and perforated it. We haven't engaged with the channel yet. So this is still more of a bearish chart than a bullish chart, right? We are in a sell signal from the triple S toolkit. The champion cross indicator is red. The zone is red. The dot is red at the bottom of the screen. So we have to be aware of that. The triple S tool has had a bearish cross. The triple S line is in the lower half of the channel. So we have to be aware that the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ was, it did actually make lower lows than the lows that it made on June 9th, 10th, and 11th. The S&P E-minis didn't, right? The lows that we saw last Friday were lower, intra-session, that is. Now, here's the 4-hour chart. Now, a 4-hour chart looks out 3 to 5 days. And if you were, how many folks were listening into some of the presentations that I did at the summit last week? Let me know in your chat. Just type in lucky number 7 in the chat and let me know if you heard any of my presentations. Now, those of you that are long-term students will already know this. Those of you that are newer, I introduced you to the idea of the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit having stages, right? Stage 1, you get the champion trend indicator, the champion cross indicator. Stage 2, you get a wealth signal. Stage 3, you get breakout forecasters. And then you end up seeing an absence of breakout forecasters for 2 to 3 bars, which is right there, right there. And we get a bullish speed line cross, which means this sell sequence is over. I know that that's the obvious, but we're going to see this happen inside the day again and again. So in this case, the sell sequence is over, and we're trying to back test the breakout forecasters. Which ones do we usually back test before a resumption trade presents itself and that direction down presents itself? Well, it's the last, second, third, sometimes the fourth last breakout forecaster. Coming up 29,400-ish would not be off base. Coming up into this territory would not be off base. That would be the last, second, third, fourth last breakout forecaster. Could it be more than that? Potentially. We're already in live cash hours right now, and the market's already starting to push up a little bit. We're at 29,081 points right now, which is an important number. It's the top lip of the mattress, as I was describing. So let's go now take a look very quickly over here at the other time frames. The hourly chart, of course, is very important to the day trader. The hourly chart ends up being probably the day trader's most important boss, if you will. It projects out the next 3 to 6 hours. So the next 3 to 6 hours is projected out by the hourly chart. And what we're seeing at this moment in time is the hourly chart is in a tentative buy signal state using my indicator, the triple S indicator. But it has not evacuated the sell signal structures from the champion trend pack. So they're fighting each other right now. And if they're fighting each other right now, that's going to make for dangerous whipsaws in the market. Now, needless to say, it's the open. I'm not really that enthused about trading directly the open unless I see sustained action above 29,080 to 29,100 points. I think we'll get it. So I want to get closer in on time frame, but I want to be mindful of where that next resistive structure is on the hourly chart. It's sitting at 29,170-ish. Let's go zoom down to the 5-minute chart. I need to be in a buy signal state if I want to trade long on that 5-minute chart, because that's the chart that I'm actually trading. I am in a buy signal state from a triple S standpoint, champion trend pack standpoint, got the double green dots above the speed lines, hitting the top of the range and trying to break the top of the range, set pre-market. So this is all encouraging. All very encouraging, actually. We're at 29,100. And I'm going to flip it down to a 1-minute chart with my execution on the right-hand side of the screen here. I'm trading the NQ at this moment in time. I want to make sure that I've got my position timer on. Yeah, I've got everything in here that I need. I'm going to remove things that I don't really need right now. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. And, at the very beginning of the day, it may make more sense to trade the MNQ versus the NQ at the very beginning of the day. So I actually am going to switch it there because I want to know that I've actually established some solid directionality. So I'm going to see if I can flip it right now. And there we go. And by the way, for those of you that are new, you can type in the continuous contract, and Wealth Chart says it will automatically trade the front month. I'm just going to put the actual front month in, for ease of understanding at this stage. But it's all good to go. It's all there. And right now I'm looking at, and by the way, I was trading some other accounts earlier. Really when I was preparing for this morning in the wee hours of the morning. I'm already up over 1,500 or so, overall, and looking forward to building on that. Almost 1,600 actually. Looking forward to building on it. I'll share that with you in just a second here so you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm just going to wait for everything to kind of settle in over here and look at taking a long side trade. There's another 50 points to potentially go over here. I want to see if I can grab a piece of it. I'm having a little slowdown on my side system-wise, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on before I actually take a execution. So bear with me for a moment here, folks, and that happens, live TV and all. So I'm going to give it a moment to kind of sort itself out, figure out what it wants to become when it grows up. Which I'm hopeful is just smooth operations for me. There we go. That's good. And at this stage, I still have room up to the resistive structure that we've identified, 29,175. That was on the 1 hour chart. So back test of the speed lines or a higher high, either or could become useful for long. I'm going to just take one in right now. Okay, I'm going to take one on right now. So I'm in right now, and I'll manage that. I also wanted to share with you the results that I've had so far trading this this oversold bounce in the market. I'm just getting that page up on screen, and I'll get that up for you in just a second here. Yeah, it looks like I'm having some fairly serious delays on my side of the screen here, which probably means I need to shut some browsers down. That's probably the number one thing that it means. So I'm going to go and figure that out as we speak here. But as you can tell, the trade's in the money. The execution was correct. The directionality to where we're going is coming up. And I can share a little bit with you in terms of the results. Let's see if I can do that very quickly over here. So I traded some different accounts this market morning. I am going to be flipping to only trading FFF accounts. But you can see that's the live trade that's in right now. And that's my tally on the day at this moment in time. So doing fairly well to start off the day. Obviously want to grow that number as we move through the day. And right now I want to be careful that, hey, are we ending a sequence? I don't have a breakout forecaster here, but I have one on the last close bar, so I'm willing to stay in the trade. The triple S line is still not super overextended, so I think the trade is still valid. Now, if I go over to the 5-minute chart, am I seeing any indications that say, no, watch your back, this is not going to work out? No, I'm seeing its support. It broke the range. All is good there. What about the hourly chart? Well, we're coming up into resistance, so we know that. Resistance of the champion trend sell zone trail line sitting at around 29,170. So the trade's in the money. If anyone else took the trade and is already in the trade, feel free to share with me that you're doing something similar. And I hope that the live execution of it and the kind of diagnostic has helped along the ride. But so far, a profitable trade, getting very close to the target area. I think we're going to engage with the target area, but I like profit, and I'm taking profit. So there it is. Now that position was in force for a couple of minutes, but it's there. Now for those who are, scalping, and if you're trading FFF accounts, which I know many of you here are, the micro scalping rule of waiting for 20 seconds has changed to 10 seconds, right? So that distance has been shortened, just to let folks know. Now at this stage, I'm going to poll the room and kind of get a sense from folks out there. Did you get your first trade off similar to mine? If you did, give me a lucky number 7 in the chat, or as some are already sharing their results with me in the chat. And congratulations to those of you that have shared the results with me. Amazing. Amazing. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm really, really happy to hear that. So you've got a market that's in a retrace, right? It's retracing the damage done from the selling in the back 2 days of last week. the damage is still done, right? It has not been overturned. So remember that we're in a market that is retracing. So smaller position size, shorter duration may end up being the righter way to play, especially before we get into that period of time where where folks are really starting to angle and position for what Goog and what Tesla have to do and have to say, right? So there you go. Hey, I'm getting some really nice comments in the chat. Well, I'm glad it's constructive. I'm glad that and exactly, really, Tim M. Good entries always help. They always help. And my goal over here is to find as many as I possibly can, right? That I'm comfortable with. But you can see that I'm out of the trade right now, right? We crafted the idea of the long. I had a little bit of a technical delay, which I'm still facing at this moment in time, which is making me a little more skittish to want to trade with the full size contract at this stage. But I did take on the MNQ, did get a profitable trade. I don't know how many points I'd made on that, but it was not big absolute dollars, but it added to my tally. And we did the work, right? We understood that we are retracing. On the daily chart, we're retracing. We're coming up into falling resistance. Okay, the momentum, the support for a rise up, primarily coming from oil coming down, helpful. But we know that the dollar is still a bit of a headwind to the market. And then we went to the 4-hour chart where we understood that the sequence that we've moved through, that sell sequence, that ended, right? That ended already. And we're in a move that can take us all the way back up, potentially to the 29,000, 300-400-ish area, right up in the upper half of the moving support and resistance channel. And then when we look at the hourly chart, what did we learn from the hourly chart? That yes, we're in a buy signal state from a triple S standpoint, but not from the champion trend pack standpoint. And the champion trend pack standpoint gave us, or indicative toolkit told us that we've got a sell zone. And there's a trail line over here, which is probably going to act like resistance. And it did. And you heard all of that in advance, right? That was all provided in advance. So the idea was long, but with a cap, right? The cap would be probably not going to get much higher on the first thrust than 29,170. And we did just that. We got pretty much virtually to that number. We went down to the 5-minute chart, which is what I want to make sure that you hear me say. When I'm day trading the 5-minute chart. So the signal on the 5-minute chart is what I'm day trading. I'm using the 1-minute chart as an execution triggering mechanism, and I'm using the 1-hour chart to verify the backbone of that direction and look for major structures. Of course, I'm going to look at structures on the 4-hour chart and the daily chart as well. And right now, I want to get back into trade mode here because we are getting a bounce that's eating into the wick of the last closed 5-minute bar. It's still early in the session, obviously, but I'm getting what looks like, excuse me, looks like the beginning of resumption here. It's not a resumption yet. It's not a resumption yet. What happens after the sequence ends, right? We have, this is a classic sequence. Champion trend is in play. That's the trail from the buy zone plaque that came in earlier on the 1-minute chart, right back over here on the left. It wobbled, and then, of course, took off above the top of the channel. Champion cross went green. So right there, roughly, we were in a decent state to say the move was going to start right before the open. Open hit, triple S hit, then wealth signal hit, then breakout forecasters hit. So we got to stage 3 pretty darn quick. And we ended up having an absence of 2 to 3 bars, a bearish speed line cross. We tested the last, second, third last breakout forecasters, and now we're trying to push up again. In this particular case, I am going to wait to see if that fast speed line can get above the slow speed line, okay? And if price can break the resistance at 29,170 to 175 before I take a trade. I think that's the more responsible decision for my next long side trade. Now, I don't, I do have my ES stuff up here, so I am going to get that up on the screen because I know lots of folks want to know where the S&P E-minis are going as well. But we're so close, so close to potentially breaching resistance at 170, 175 that I'm going to stay here for now and just keep my focus right here. Okay, there's 165. double green dots underneath the bar from the triple S buy signal that happened right back over here at 9:29, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. There we go. So we're breaching it. It's the initial breach, slight back test, I'm in. Now, I have to also know where I'm going, right? Because this could implode and come right back to back test support before it goes up again. And I might want to get out of the trade if it doesn't directly continue. So I'm going to go to my 5-minute chart. I'm going to go, where could it come down to? Well, I'm not going to wait for 40 points. That's where the fast speed line is, 30 to 40 points. I've already opened the door for more, and we're already starting to convert on a 1-hour chart into a champion trend buy zone and champion cross buy zone. You know, it's toggling on. It's not there. It's not, you know, it's toggling on, toggling off. As the math works, the signal will toggle on, toggle off intra lifespan of the bar, which is an hourly bar. So we still have another, 15 minutes to go for this bar. If this bar closes with the champion trend buy zone plaque, the champion cross dot at the bottom of the main chart, we're probably going to see a continuation up in the next hour. Okay, so long side can become more ratified, if you will. Now I'm going to go over to the 4-hour chart, and I'm going to remind ourselves that, hey, we know that the 1-hour chart is going to be the most important in terms of structures, signal, etc. I'm gonna go back to the 4-hour chart, because the longer the time frame, the deeper the technical tracks that are set down. So I've got the bottom of the MSR channel already perforated on the 4-hour chart. It was a little above the 170-ish line. It's sitting at around the 185-ish line. And, you know, above 185, we're good. And you can see the trade's slightly in the money right now. So another execution to play the resumption of the buy move that started right as we opened, right? The buy sequence that started right as they opened. So that's another profitable trade there. And if you're in it, you know, in order to win it, we need to keep the profit. So I'm going to go back and just double check where I'm sitting with all of my signals to make sure that I want to remain in the position. So we have that sequence start, and this is classic. This, especially for those of you that are new, this is an amazing educational morning. Not only trading morning, because you have the sequence starting, the sequence ended with no breakout forecasters for 2 bars here and a bearish speed line cross, and it came back and it tested the last, the second, the third last, and then it resumed. Now, is it going to continue? Let's see. Now, I'm willing to stick around in the trade for a little bit here, because we do have that potential to push up, but we are fighting something right now. That's to be clear. There is something being fought right now. What's being fought, I think, is the bottom of the MSR channel on the 4-hour chart, which is also coincidentally where a breakout forecaster is. And we've tested the last, second, third last breakout forecaster. There is some chance that it's over here. There is some chance. I doubt that that's going to be the case, but this is a retracing market. This is not a market that's in a fundamental new move. It's trying to retrace what it had already done. So I'm glad that I'm in an MNQ, not a NQ at this moment in time, because the trade's not working out. So at a certain point, I have to decide, you know, I have to decide to cut it. Now, I think I've left myself in the trade too long. The 1-minute chart's starting to show some more bearish configurations, bearish speed line cross, champion cross zone is compressing a bit. I'm going to take it back to the 5-minute chart over here and have a quick look-see and go, okay, am I still holding structures of support that are important? The fast speed line has been perforated and we're breaking down below it. Now, I don't like what I'm seeing. We're going to come all the way down to that slow speed line potentially before a bounce happens, or somewhere in between. You know, it's not until we're back above that fast speed line, which is sitting at around 29,150, that I'm going to be more comfortable remaining in the position. So this is a bit problematic at this stage. And the trade, as you can see, is out of the money at this moment. So I'm going to go back to my 1-minute chart here for my execution and draw a line where I go, I can't stay in the trade anymore. I think that the responsible thing would be anything below 125 would open the door for another 30, 40 points lower. So certainly want to be out of it there or sooner, right? I've already got that downward momentum, but the backdrop signal is still positive, right? The backdrop signal is still positive. The 5-minute chart signal is still positive. It's still supportive of a long. is what we're doing right now, back testing the the range high pre-market, the breakout range high. I don't want to go down for that ride, right? I'm already down for that ride more than I want to be. So at this stage, I'm considering getting the heck out of the way. It's slowed down in its decline, so that gives me some reason to hold, but I don't have a stop in over here. And of course, this can get much more ugly very quickly, but I think it's going to be a dip and bounce. I think it's going to be a dip and bounce. I don't think that it's going to be I don't think it's the end of the retrace overall. Let's see what this bar gives us. If it can get back above 29,155, great. If it makes a lower low versus the last bar, I'm out. I'm out. It made a lower low. Well, I have no problem getting back in, but I'd rather know that we've jumped back on the horse and we want to ride that pony north. So at this stage, no, not interested. And for the ES fans in the room, we can do a little work there. Right now, I'm simply waiting to see if price action comes down into rising support, which it's coming down lower into. Okay. And does it act like a springboard and bounce up? The most important support structure is going to be off that 5-minute chart in the now. And we've already perforated the slow speed line. We've got a breakout forecaster down over here at around 29,100. What it appears to be in terms of the nature of this move is a back test of the breakout area, right? Exactly, George. And look, I'm trying to take folks right through the journey, right? So right over here, you've got the highs established in the pre-market around 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, and we broke out above it first 5-minute bar, right? Got ourselves a little too excited. Tried to get up and going, and no, it wanted to come back to back test. So this is I'm not going to say the most important, but it is a pretty critical moment. If we are going to get longs directly from here, I want to see the zone in price between 29,110 down to about 29,080 points hold as support. And for those who remember the remarks I made at the beginning of the session, remember we were talking about where the mattress and where we are. Well, the top lip of the mattress, 29,080 points. And I want to see us be able to hold, any back test of that at this stage, because we're already above it in the pre-market. We already pulled back. We're at 90, 95 right now. So let's go back in here. So it was the correct decision to get out of the way. Flipping to short would have been, shoulda, woulda, coulda, doesn't really matter. I'm not in a official sell signal state on a 1-minute chart, 5-minute chart, 1-hour chart fully. But the 1-minute chart certainly is moving that way. And we've come down to the 29,080 marker now, and this is getting a little more unruly. So I'm quite pleased with the decision to go, hey, the resumption trade faltered. So I stayed in it probably a lot longer than I should have, but I didn't do too much damage to my accounts there. I think I'm down a whopping $55 on the day in that account. So that's not a big deal at this stage. But what I do want to do is, make that number green. And, somewhere around here, I exited it when I saw, the slowdown bar actually furthered. We made a lower low, and it's continuing to sell down right now. So this back test, this resumption is all failing at this stage. Now, that puts me in the spot where I go, okay, perhaps we're in a directional shift that can stick around for longer than one may want. And it's not a huge surprise, right? You've got your daily chart, your 4-hour chart for the NQ in a sell signal state. We're locking in negative divergences on the 5-minute chart. I think we just locked in a negative divergence. That's not displayed here, but I'm going to just comment on it. So I don't really have a good reason right now to trade a long, that's for sure, until I get a reversal off of this launch base, one that I can believe in. And one that the odds favor to continue. And then on the other side, a short side trade is viable anywhere below 29,000 and about 25 points. But it would be more a scalp, very short term, because we're coming down into rising support on the 5-minute chart. We're perforating that rising support, but around 29,000 and 25 points, there's a 20-point move that can take place down to 29,000 and pretty much flat, 29,000 flat. There is an opportunity there. It's late in the game. I don't think I really want it. But for those who are attempting a trade, there may be something there. So let's see if this wants to turn around and give us a bounce back up. It's not an incredibly exciting move, but look, if we're in a range now and we are simply back testing the launch zone from where we started cash hours, okay. Oh, that is a valid trading opportunity, but I want to see some progress before I get in, because we'd be rising into falling resistance, right? So it's harder, but this could be a range bound market move. I could, plant a flag here with a small size contract like a micro and see if it works. But again, I'm not through resistive structures. The 5-minute chart, however, remains in a buy signal state. So if I'm trading long, I'm not playing counter trend. If I'm trading long and you're looking at the 1-minute chart and it's going down, I'm in a buy signal state that has weakened. Dramatically weakened on the 5-minute time frame, right? The champion cross dot's not even there. Speed lines have bearishly crossed, but the champion trend buy zone trail line is still intact, right? It's been perforated, so it's a warning, right? But and is it a good moment for a trade? Well, it's not sloping up; it's going sideways, right? One of the things you heard me pound the table on last week during the summit in my presentations is, if I want to take on a trade, I want to see the granddaddy of the champion trend pack indicators, the five indicators, the granddaddy being the champion trend. I want to see it trending, not going flat. I want to see that trail line actually trending. So it's not ideal, right? There are going to be better moments. This is probably not the best moment. I could try a high risk entry, right? That would be the idea, but I'd rather wait. In the role that I'm playing here, which I'm trying to find as many entry and exits as I can, I have to consider a high risk entry, and if I'm comfortable, I'll take it. But I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And if we do come down on the 5-minute chart and end up breaking down below, just call it roughly 29,000 flat, we may be in a directional change that sustains. And that might be traumatic to some because many have been playing long in the overnight session. That's what I was doing, predominantly to grow my accounts about just north of $1,500 overnight. So we are perforating. We're coming down to support, and I'm hesitating to take a short. Okay, so I'm just being completely transparent with you. I'd like to see some damage done that actually turns into a sell signal state on the chart that I'm day trading, which is the 5-minute chart. Now, I do want to pay some service to the S&P E-minis. I haven't done that with you this market morning yet. And I know a lot of folks in the room trade the E-minis. So we're sitting at 75.32. We are in a sell signal state on the daily chart, but we're above the center of the MSR channel, and we're below falling speed lines. The daily chart is in a kill zone on the primary market, okay? The 4-hour, and it's in a sell signal state. The daily chart tends to project its signal out a week to two, closer to 2. The 4-hour chart's in a sell signal state. We came into falling resistance and faced it as resistance and fell down. But the rising support structures of the speed lines are still intact. I think that the same comment that I made right up front at the beginning of the day, below 7,500, there's going to be dragons below, so be careful. There's going to be danger below. And right now, Now, of course, with hindsight, I'm kicking myself going, there was a big short available. I should have taken it. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Okay, that's not going to help me right now. So right now, I want to find my next trading opportunity. And the 1 hour chart is in a sell signal state. 5 minute chart is tentatively in a sell. 1 minute chart's in a sell. So as far as I'm concerned at this stage, the trade is a short on the ES below 75.23 down to 75.14 or lower until we know different. And the Nasdaq's in a short signal state as well at this moment in time. We've got the 5 minute chart breaking through support. 1 minute chart's my execution chart. I'll take us over there. I'm very late in the game to get this short, but I'm going to try a quick one out. I want to see if I can get a little out of it. And what I'm looking for at the end of the day over here is a move that can take me down towards, let's go to the hourly chart again here, towards the center of the MSR channel on the hourly time frame. So 55, 95, 85, somewhere in there to 55 would be the idea. And if I don't see progress real quick, I will bug out of the trade, right? I don't want to see, green bars sticking around for too long here. I'd much rather bug out. But is it logical that this actually acts like a launch zone? We've broken the launch zone. We're coming down to a lower level, right? We've broken the idea of back testing the breakout. We're coming down to a lower level, and we haven't hit that level yet. It's around the 955-ish area, which we can validate on the hourly chart as well. The center of the MSR channel. So I think it's still a valid short where I've taken it. I'm not seeing progress that's great at this moment, but we've just changed hours now. Let's see if we're going to get follow through to the downside. That's your 5 minute chart. There's some follow through to the downside. And those that are in it to win it on this trade, breakout forecaster did present hourly change can sometimes wreak havoc with direction. I'm not seeing it do too much, but I'm not going to stay in the trade if this is the type of action I'm seeing on a short. Waiting around for results, like it was profit positive briefly. I'm not going to wait around for it though. Now, I think coming back down below 85 or 80, I can try the short again. I just don't want to sit with dead money. So I'm going to potentially execute again, but I am going to wait to see if I can get down below that 85 to 80-ish area. You'll note that we have an absence, no breakout forecaster on the last close 1 minute bar. None above the current live bar. Speed lines have compressed, but this could be just a bear flag. And here's 84. Okay, so that's good. It's getting closer to the line that I'd want. And there we go. 83, 82, 78. Okay, I just hit the sell button. I've got a little bit of a technical delay going on my system for some reason. I've shut down a whole bunch of the browsers, but I'm still facing a bit of an issue on my side. So I apologize for that. Which is what it's going to do is it's going to lower the number of executions that I have, that I actually do in front of you live here. So I will apologize in advance on that. I'm going to try to shut down more right now and just make sure that my system resources don't get too taxed. But unfortunately, I am still facing a little bit of a slowdown on my side. So my apologies on that. And there's not a lot of data or anything like that today that's going to make a big difference. And I've taken my eye off the trade and it's gone against me. So I have to be careful with that. So let's go and take a quick look-see at what we just bounced up off of. Back above 29,000. Yeah, we did get a breakout forecaster. So the short is still valid, but we had a reversal bar on the last 1 minute bar. You go to the 5 minute bar and you go, we're back testing falling resistance, but the signal change may be afoot. It's tentative. We're still in the bar. Rather not be holding this, but I think I'm going to still maintain it for a moment here. I'm still going to maintain it because we're rising into falling resistance. We're in a sell signal state. ES is also slowed down in its decline, but it looks more like a bear flag than anything else. So I'm going to wait and see if anything good comes out of this. Otherwise, I bug out. All right. Are folks okay keeping themselves in check? I'm at the tail edge of wanting to get out of this thing because we're above the 25 marker. I'm out. I have to get out. And I waited way too long on that one. So not the best execution there, but I'm out. And a reversal is being attempted. Okay, let's see if that reversal does anything great. I think that overall, the nature of the market that we're in is one that's going to try to retrace and hold up into the mega cap earnings on Wednesday. I just don't think that we're going to have consistent trends. And we already got the insight that on a daily chart, we're in a kill zone, right? Rising support underneath, falling resistance on top of price. That's a problem. That makes for whippiness in the market action. So is this now a moment to look for up, and away we go? Anything above 75, 80, I'll consider, but between here and 80, I won't. I just don't think that that's what I want to try to play with. I'm going to try refreshing something on another screen to see if it helps with the lags that I'm facing right now. And the lags on my side, and it's browser related. That is what I figured out. So I just want to make sure that I get that fixed. I'm oot, Brian. You're funny, my friend. You're funny. Okay. So pardon me for 1 sec here. I'm going to get my head off screen. I'll come right back on in just a sec. All right. So, Bill, that's a good question. Hindsight's going to be the answer to that question at the end of the day. What we're looking at right now, though, is, we opened up and broke out above the range pre-market high very quickly. So right here is ultimately the test, and we're well below it. And you're looking at a 1-minute chart. And, this could be inverted head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder forming. This could be a cup and handle pattern. Both would be bullish patterns, but we'd, at bare minimum, I need to see action above 29,050 points on the NQ to consider going long. And I'd like to see the 5-minute chart back into some sort of a buy signal state. I do have it in some sort of a buy signal state. I've got the champion trend indicator on a sell. Triple S was on a confirmed buy, but now it's flashing on the down triangle. So no longs, not yet. And look, if it slips below 980, 28,980, I think I can short it down to 950, which is the trade I was looking for prior, which might not have been, cooked enough to take it that time, but may end up working out this go around. So I think that I'm going to look at that as my next trade. I'm going to try it right now. I'd like to see follow through pretty much directly. If I don't, I'm probably going to want to get out of the way. So I'm going to give it, 10, 20 seconds at most, and see if I get some profit positivity. If not, this could be that inverted head and shoulders. This could be that cup and handle pattern. And I'd much rather get out of the way. So my finger's on the trigger to exit. Now, we did come down. We dipped our toes into hot water. Looks like we got out of the water. Yeah, so there's no need for me to stay. It could still come back down again, but the timing of that entry was not good. The location is the right location, roughly the 28,985 to 980-ish area. And the obvious is wait for the low to be cleared for those who are trying to short. But if we're going to turn around and we're going to actually get back up, put our long pants on, and get things stabilized over here, two things that I'm noticing it's a lot slower, and it's struggle busting its way to try to firm up, which is in this market where we're retracing does not provide a lot of confidence for longs. I'm not going to argue with it if I get action above 29,000 and about 50 points. I might try it right there. Okay. How's everyone doing? Let me know. Are you getting what you need from me? Let me know. Put, you can type the letter Y in the chat, or lucky number 7, whatever you like. Are you getting the insight that you need from me to help with, market structure, directional decision making? Right now, for one that's in a short and holding, I cannot fault you. I just tried one. My entry did not work. I'm going to very likely try another one below 28,985 to 980. I will try a long above 29,050 points. Neither of the two trades are ideal. Neither of the two are ideal. And when I look at, higher time frames, if I short at 980, 28,980, I've got 30 points to support from the 1 hour chart, which is the center of the MSR channel. And I've got about 60 points down to support on the 4 hour chart, which would be the slow speed line. Now, if I want to play on the long side, above 29,000, about 50 points, the 1 minute chart in and of itself has resistance at 75, 76. Okay. 5 minute chart has resistance at 29,155. I'm starting to favor the short because I'm starting to see the slope down on the champion trend sell zone trail line on that 5 minute chart. Triple S is in a sell. We're coming down to that 80-ish location. I'm trying it again, exactly like I said I would try it. Okay, it's the same attempt that I had over here. I want to see if this can actually take us down to the target area, which is 28,000 and about 50 points. So that's one pocket. Then the next move is down to about 28,920. So it looks like this is the time. We're coming to the local low. We've perforated it. I'm taking profit. So that trade was in force for about 30 seconds. Okay. It's the same sort of trade that I attempted back here. Those that are still in it, the risk of a back test can take you back up to the 90s. Okay, so be very careful. I disconnected from the trade. If I want to re-enter the trade, I already know I've got from about 28,950 down to 920. Okay, but this is a retracement type market that is just not, it's not the market that I enjoy trading. But again, I'm challenging myself to find as many credible entries as I can and give you the preamble, the analytics on why I would make that execution happen. Here we go. I'm trying it again now. I'm in another short. Okay, this one has got room down to about 28,920. Fingers on the trigger to get out. I don't want to have this go against me and have that bar rip up dramatically. So I'll keep it while we're below 65. Above 65, I don't really want to be in this trade. So the trade's profit positive, which is good, but I'm not seeing it accelerate lower. So I'm getting a little more skittish about it. Position has been in force for about 30 seconds-ish. I'm taking my profit. We're about to confirm, right? We still have about another 2.5 minutes left on this 5-minute bar. But if it closes like this, we'll be in the champion trend sell signal state, champion cross sell signal state, and triple S sell signal state. So the trade is still on tap if one is in it. It's not broken. I took my profit early. I'm trying to find as many executable moments as possible. And that was one. It worked. I took my profit. You saw it now twice in a row. But I'm not seeing a market that is terrified of anything at this stage. I am seeing a market on the ES side that has come down the way that I described it to you, from 22 down to the lower 7500s, 75 tweens. That's happened. So for ES traders, we came up to our line in the sand for this week is 75.32. We were above it, bearishly reversed back down below, remained in a sell signal state across the board, re-entered a sell signal state on the 5-minute chart back here. And, we've gone from about, 55, 50, all the way down to effectively 75, 10-ish. And by the way, the 75.50, 75.55 area should be familiar to you. If you've been listening in and participating in sessions with me over the last several weeks, really going back to, middle of May even, we've had that line, front and center for the primary market. The S&P E-mini is right in front of us the entire time. It's that volume profile histograms that I have nested starting at the beginning of May, one at the beginning of June, one at the lows on the 11th of June. And they all kind of coalesce in around 75.55, right? We tested the underbelly of what is more likely going to act like a concrete ceiling, and we came back down below it. Breaching it and getting above would have furthered the long. The NASDAQ was trying in earnest to get us above it, but we were not able to. It was not able to. And the market flipped to short. Now the question is the short going to remain in force? So if I look at the ES and try to get a sense from it, it's in a kill zone. Rising support, MSR channel center underneath price, falling resistance above. Very dangerous market to trade in. We're not riding the speed lines above it. We're not riding the speed lines down yet. We don't have enough days in a row. We need at least 2. It makes it very problematic where we can get whipsaws. But what I'm trying to figure out here is support established by the oversold bounce in the overnight session going to hold? And I'm not guessing at the numbers. I'm just looking at where the speed line values are. 75.12 is the lower bound, and we're holding. Okay. What do we need to get above on the primary market to tell us that we're going to go back up again for a little while? We're not just trying to get our footing. We're actually going to, run up the hill. I think the earliest sign of that at this stage is going to have to be the center of the 1-hour chart's MSR channel, 75.22. So we're not that far away from it. Handful of points. Above 75.22, we are in a range that is more worthy of up. Okay, so I'm hopeful that those who are in shorts were able to get out of the way. I took my last one and got out of the way at around 10.12. I'm not ready to go long. Obviously, in this this mode of the market, it could end up becoming what I do, but I'm not ready to do that right now. The 5-minute chart is the chart whose signal I am trading. And we're in a sell signal state on the 5-minute chart for the NASDAQ. Same for the ES. Okay, that sell signal is not getting more aggressive, but it's still a sell signal state. You've got the champion trend sell zone trail line. That happened on the 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time 5-minute bar. Then we saw a slope down in the champion trend line on the 10:10 a.m. Eastern Time bar. We got the champion cross indicator with the dot confirmed on the last closed bar there. So as of this bar right there, we're in stage 1 of the champion trend pack sequence, in this case, a sell sequence, right? And now if we come down and break below the low here, I could try a short again, right? We need to know where we're going below 28,940. And we already know there's support on the hourly chart at around, well, now that's changing. So let's just be very clear. Well, the next major area would be all the way down at 28,890. Bottom of the champion cross zone might be tentative support. So if I take a short around the 50 area, maybe 25 points, it could also end up being about a 60-pointer. So I'm going to go in and say 5-minute charts in a sell signal state, champion trend trail line's not sloping down, but it's starting to get more aggressive to the downside. I'm going to wait for the local low to be breached. I'm going to take it on the breach below. I should get get somewhere between 10, 15 points. I think I entered prematurely there, so I have to manage it now. That was a bad entry on my part. I clicked the button and I front ran it, and I'm paying the price for it already. It's still the righter direction overall, but I didn't wait for the breach, right? I thought I saw something instead of seeing it. And there you go. It just went against me right away. So I am probably going to get out of the way of this trade because I don't like the way that I've entered into it. But I am giving it another few seconds here to see if that bar can go red again and get me back down towards my entry. If not, if back above the fast speed line, I'm going to get out of the way. Out of the way. Zero tolerance, right? I thought I saw something, and this happens. If you've traded, this happens. I thought I saw acceleration to the downside, tried to clip the trade and get in at the right time, but it didn't work. Could it present again? Sure. If it does, I'll try to take it. Fingers on the trigger, waiting for it to submerge below the local lows. Exactly, Tim. That's the way that cookie crumbled. So right now it's just an exercise of patience, because you're in a market where the big picture insight off the daily chart is you're in a kill zone. So we're going to have whippiness. We know we're in a kill zone and we're in a retrace back up that's now ostensibly failed. So if the bottom is going to fall out again, we've already done the work to know where we're going down to. And on the ES, by the way, there's a lot of room lower, down into the 7470-ish area on breach of 7,500. Okay, so breach happened. I was looking at the ES. I'm taking the trade. I've taken it below the low. I'm looking for a direct continuation down. We did come down to the support area at 25. Okay, we actually came down and hit the 25 line, which is, by the way, the bottom of the champion cross buy zone on the hourly chart. It's also where one of the speed lines is on the 4-hour chart. The slow speed line was there. It's not there anymore. It's at 15 now. So what I need to see for this trade to continue working is obviously it be profit positive, but I've got range down to, I'm taking profit, by the way, taking profit right here. So happy about that. Great. Lovely. 28,890 is the next notch that I was able to find. You're not going to see it on the 5-minute chart. On the hourly chart, you can see 28,892, 893 is where we're headed down to. We're probably going to get down there. Those who are still in the short, I would trail tighter the faster it starts to move down, because again, this is a market that's coming down into rising support. It's in a kill zone on the daily chart, and on the 4-hour chart, that retrace up, we've not eaten the whole thing up. We haven't eaten the whole thing up, right? That's sorry, on the 1-hour chart, that's 3 a.m. This bar that I'm looking at right there. We did build a base over here. I would expect us to hold. We might perforate 28,890, but I would expect it to hold. So this is the harder part of the move to stay in if one is short, right? This is the harder part of the move to stay in, but because it's coming down into support from a bigger time frame, right? Were folks able to get a little bit out of that last short that you saw me take? You folks can let me know in the chat if you were. Hey, I'm seeing yeses come through the chat. Amazing. When you're looking at a very small time frame, like a 1-minute chart, it becomes it's very myopic, right? We have to look at the bigger picture here. The bigger picture is not even driven off the 5-minute chart, but it's the signal that I'm trading. And if you look at the level that we've come down to. We were there, 3:30, 3:40 a.m. Eastern time. It's where a buy sequence had really started, but we weren't able to get lift off at that time. It took a lot of time, but it was orderly. I'm hopeful those that were in shorts were able to manage to profit on the last trade. Okay, we did come down to about 910. We didn't get down to 890. And the reversal back up is not yet one that inspires along. It could above 29,020 points, but there are so many barriers above that area. It just makes it a very poor long side trading opportunity. Well, Nelson, I'm happy to hear that, my friend. You know, if the way that I communicate and the way that I demonstrate connects with you and resonates with you and is able to, help you in your transactions, not just your theory, that's where I feel I've done a decent job. And Cruz, you're saying, or seek some consolidation. We could, right? If we do consolidate here, the first thing that we got to think about, though, is it consolidate to continue lower? That's the question, right? Otherwise, are we in a late stage downtrend, and are we in a basing zone? We have not been going down long enough intraday to say this is a late stage downtrend. So, if we're going to go back to first principles to think through this, I have to go, hey, this is probably a consolidate to continue lower, but I'm in a kill zone. I know that I'm in a market that can whip around very quickly either way. Falling resistance on the daily chart, rising support underneath it. You can see a similar effect of that on a 4-hour chart. Falling resistance above price. That's the MSR channel, which is the moving support and resistance channel, the 3 green lines. And then the speed lines underneath, rising support. So it can get very whippy, and we can take little pieces of the move, until it gets out of this marketplace that is actually like jaws clamping down on price. I've probably talked more about kill zones and being in kill zones in the market, more in the last 2 months than I have in the last 2 years. Well, truth be told, we did have a consolidation, which ended up being a topping zone before we had that dump down in March, before the April run up. Okay, so are we actually making any progress over here on the long side? Bullish reversal tail above the speed lines, coming up into the falling resistance of the channel, but we're in a sell signal state. So the primary signal on the 5-minute chart is short. So is this a setup to re-short, or are we seeing enough strength build to regain a major support line and go up? So I said to you that I could consider longs above 29,020 points, right? 29,024 points is what I'm going to use. And I can play for the upper half of the MSR channel, but it's a very low grade trade because the 5-minute chart's not got a clean long signal, right? I'm getting a tentative triple S signal, champion trends in a sell, champion crosses in a sell. The 1-minute chart might convert over to a buy above that 29,020 to 25 point area, or this is where it fails and we get a resumption short. So I'd rather trade with, the majority of the directionality that we've had since the open, which has really been more time spent going down. I'd rather be trying that short. I'd rather be trying it somewhere below $980. But if the long is going to present itself, I need to be a little bit above the champion trend sell zone trail line on that 1-minute chart. So around 29,025 points. And that would, of course, open the door for a little pocket of upside against that 5-minute time frame, which gets me to trade long in the upper half of the 5-minute chart MSR channel. I don't want to be trading long in the lower half. I'd rather be trading long in the upper half of that channel, especially with this signaled state that we're in. See lots of good comments with lots of folks putting in their insight on, where they're taking their trades. Amazing. So, that's the best way. Keep it professional. Keep your eye on the ball. Okay, we're breaching supports. I'm very tempted to short and play with that direction down. I'm looking for 960. 960 would be clear of support structures on the 5-minute chart, well below support structures on the 1-minute chart. That would be my short below, long above 925. We're closer to 925, I think, at this moment. Yep. So I'll wait, see if I get something out of it. Now we're coming into the center of the hour right now. So typically there's, and George, where's your reminder for me? I'm reminding you to remind me now. So at the center of the hour, we got to be a little more careful. And usually it's a gotcha moment. So I have to be careful because there are some mechanical changes, but we're coming up to the line that I want to go long above, and we're almost past the center of the hour. I'm going to heed the warning of the center of the hour, which usually, what George noticed with spending time with me is trades taken right at the center of the hour tend not to work out. After we cross 1030, sure. So we just crossed 1030. That candle goes green. I'm going long. Now, this is still a low quality trade. Okay. Please keep that in mind. We're trading the upper half of the 5-minute chart channel. When you're in the channel and you're trading a 5-minute chart, you're trading a 20 to 90 minute time frame in front of you. And channel trades, they're a little higher probability when you're in the upper half of the channel. Okay. But again, they're still very close to 50-50. Above the top of the channel, below the bottom of the channel, it's a lot cleaner. But I've got a pattern in the market that seems to be working. If folks are in this trade right now, my suggestion would be to trail tighter. I'm going to take profits soon. Now, so another profitable trade, identified in advance with objectivity. If I was going to go short, here's where I'd want to go short. I said 28,960. If I was going to go long, you heard me figure out where the levels were, 29,000 and about 20 to 25 points. I also heeded the center of the hour where mechanical changes can happen at a market level. Took my profit seemingly at the right time. I'm not giving up on the idea of it trying to retrace back up. So if I want to go long again, I'd like to see progress above 29,000, about 30, 40 odd points, somewhere in there. And then I'd be looking for the long. So I'm hearing a couple of folks say that the sound is muddled or muffled and it's not clear. Is the audio coming in crystal clear? Yes, no? Let me know. I know we've got a huge audience right now. It's a very large audience that we've got in the room. And I know the systems are on my side are a little taxed. So I want to just be, it's coming in crystal clear is the message I'm getting from the majority of folks. So, okay. And look, I'm trying to keep my eyes on the chat as much as I can. The chat's flowing through really quick. So if I miss something, I'll miss it. And I am, the way that I do things over here. So Andy, I saw your question. How do we get your layouts? I'm going to share that with you, of course. And I want you to know that the way that I structure the market morning here is 9:15 Eastern time to 9:30 pre-market briefing. The tactical setup, the battle plan, if you will. And then live fire, 9:30 to 11 Eastern time. Then 11 to 11:30, trade review, Q&A, administration, dotting I's, crossing T's, lessons learned, all of that stuff. But during the morning session and live fire, there's a brief moment where I'm sitting back going, I don't need to focus because I've already done the work on where I want to go long or short. I can answer the question. And in this case, this is one of those moments, right? I'm not going to go short until we're well below the 1 minute chart MSR channel bottom because the signal state is mixed. So 960 is the earliest I would consider going short. And then 29,000, about 35 points is where I would consider going long. Okay. So to Andy and to anyone else on wealth charts looking for my layouts, you can go to the hamburger menu. Okay. And you can go down to where it says layouts, go to premium, just scroll down to find my name, and you'll see Ziad's day and swing layout. You'll see my triple S layouts here. Okay. If you don't own the triple S indicator and you want what's on screen right now, I do have those as layout codes in a little text file here. So I can bring that up on the screen. Actually, I'll just put the one in that matters into the chat. So bear with me for a moment. But I want to get it up on screen large for you as well. So let's see if I can do that. But it'll go into the chat now. So you can copy and paste it and import it. Let me see if I can get it into the chat properly here. When you see me looking up, I'm looking up because I'm dealing with 3 banks high of screens, 3 monitors high. So what I'm putting in the chat right now is a layout code for wealth charts for the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit and Wealth Chart member exclusive tools on a multi-time frame basis, right? You go over to the hamburger menu, you go to the layout menu drop down, you take that code that I've put into the chat and you go import layout, okay? And then you can just paste that code, just the code, not the preamble or the label. You paste that in there and done. And then import, but make sure that you save your work on whatever you were working on prior. Okay. So we're stuck in the channel right now, had a brief reprieve, a moment to wait and see if this thing is going to firm up. The 5 minute chart at this stage is in a mixed signal state. It's in a triple S buy, up triangle, champion trend sell, champion cross sell, but the speed lines are bullishly crossed. And we're trying to get into the upper half of the channel. So remember the last trade I took profitably, which was the 29,025 points above there near the center of the hour. I think I took it at around 30 or so and got out of the way as we came up to the top of the channel. I could try that trade again right now. I could try that trade again right now. If this bar goes green and takes out the high of the last 1 minute bar, I might try it. Or I can wait for price action to get above the top of the 5 minute charts MSR channel, which is sitting roughly at 29,050 points. Right? Because of the lack of clean signaled state, right? We are in a sell zone from the champion trend indicator and the champion cross indicator. We're in a buy signal state, and this is on a 5 minute chart from the triple S indicator. And we're in a market that's in a kill zone that is still not overturned all of the attempt to retrace the negativity from last Thursday, Friday, right? This is evident more on the 1 hour chart. So this is going back to last week, going back into the, end of the day last week on the 17th. And then up and away we've gone since then. The reversal that we had was 9 a.m. on the 17th. We had our move up. We came back down. All of this right here is the retrace back up. And is that retrace gone away? No, we have not come down and even broken the center of mass. You come down below 860. Yeah, the retrace has failed. But we haven't done that. So I want to lean on the idea that it's going to continue to try to retrace. Logically, using the bass-ackwards logic of markets, the market's going to want to wait for Tesla and Goog on Wednesday. Not a lot of big data coming out during the week. It really is about earnings. And absolutely, volume points of control are going to matter in a market day like today. One of the things that we can do right off the bat here to help us is in this little formation, really after the down bar here, from about 10 a.m., we can put a volume profile histogram on the screen, not from the beginning of the cash hours, not from necessarily the start of futures trade last night, but just for this structure to understand, are we on the side where it can go up or go down? So from that green bar on, I'm just going to drag it out to here. Where's the volume point of control? It's sitting at about 990. And we're below that. Okay, I'll just spread it out so you can see where the red line is, which is the volume point of control. So it's around the 990 marker. If we get back above 990, great. But if we come down below 960, that's where I said I would short it. Right now, I know it gets a little messy when you see so many things on screen here, but we came right down to 970. We're not at my 960-ish number yet, which actually is coincident with this volume profile node, 965. Below there, I could try a short. Now, ideally, the market gets its footing again, gets back above 990, and then I can start looking long. I think that that's the likelier outcome, but I can think as much as I want. I need to see. So I'm going to take us back to the 5-minute chart over here. Okay, there we go. We're back above that volume point of control for this process, which is either a bear flag waiting to get nasty and down, or a reversal area, a base of support being built to launch up off of. And which of the two it is being worked out by the market at this stage. We'll see. So we are trying to get above that 990-ish area. It's not working very well. We're down to a 1-minute chart looking at that right now. We're holding the bottom of the MSR channel and just waiting patiently to see if we can get back up above that line, get above 29,015, 20 points. And if that so should happen, excuse me, we could end up seeing a run up into the end of the hour. Which, by the way, is what I think is likely going to happen. And Michael, it's my pleasure, right? It's a good point. It's not going to vastly change my entry decision areas, right? I'd rather take the trade above 25, which is what I did before. And above 25, am I clear of structures on the 5-minute chart? No, I'm just breaking into the upper half of the MSR channel. I'm clear of structures where I have more room to breathe above the top of the channel, which is around 29,000 and about, 45 points right now on the NQ on a 5-minute chart. Above that, I've got this room, this piece of the market move that could take place that I could take a piece of. But again, this is just me theorizing, planning, constantly analyzing it to look for the opportunity and then decide whether I want to take it. So we're holding above the volume point of control for this bottoming-ish process or bear flag process. I think it's a bottoming process. It looks like an inverted head and shoulders, very complicated. It's got a left shoulder. It's got a complicated double-headed dragon. And then the right shoulder is not yet turned around enough to break the neckline. The neckline breaks at around 29,050 points. If that breaks, we've got a chart pattern and levels cleared, and we move into a buy signal state on a 1-minute chart and start to evacuate the sell on the 5, and it long makes more sense. But no dice. I'm not seeing anything good yet. And again, I'm going to consider the short below 965, 960. It'll probably be a quick one down to 940. We're getting closer to it, so if that becomes a reality, I'll take it. And you can make the argument, we've got a high, we've got a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, no lower low yet. If the lower low comes down and takes out 65, 965, I've got some rhyme and reason to say I'm trading with this little mini trend a little lower. Let's see. Okay, here we go. See you, Kevin. What are you saying, Cruz? 28, 960, 250? Either it holds or it doesn't, right? If it doesn't hold, I could try for a little whoosh down below it. But ideally, the retracement that has been on since last night continues, because that, even though it's still not the best environment, it's got more history, and it's got more of a backbone. We're just seeing the market flustered, since the open. We had a little pop up, down, unwilling to break. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm in. I executed where I told you I would. It's probably a very small pocket for the trade. It did go profit positive pretty quickly. I passed my 10 seconds, but I want to see this thing whoosh now. But again, I don't want to see it go too red on me either. So let's see if we get a whoosh down. There we go. A little more. Geez, I'm out. Those who have the wherewithal to stay in, stay in. 65 is the stop. 40 is the target. I didn't like the behavior I saw in the next bar. Like, I didn't see it. This should be a whoosh down, right? We lose volume profile support. There is another small little node at around 52, which is what we came down to. We should have punched right through it, but it didn't. I got out of the way. If I want to take it again, risk reward, it's not my first consideration. It's like, how deep is the histogram going to go back towards the left here, which means how much air is there? The fewer the contracts traded, the more air there is, the more chance for a whoosh down. And there's quite a bit of air below 50. There's even more air below 45. So I'm not going to argue with it. I'm going to try it again. I'm in late. I feel like I'm chasing it. I might end up paying the price for the chase. I'm gonna wait, and see if we can get a little bit more down. Because there's the whoosh that I was talking about. Didn't happen the first time. Ruth Ann, it's not wrong. It's just early, right? There you go. There's another example of it. Okay, let's see if this ends up giving me something. I don't like what I'm seeing right now. The reversal back up is strong. I don't want to sit there burning cash for no reason. Even though I'm trading the micros here, it can all still add up. And I'm out. That's a very strong reversal off of that low. And look, it did come down to the whoosh worthy area. For those of you that got it, amazing. I hope you did well with it too. And Jimmy, I started this volume profile exercise. It should actually, truth be told, be started right there. Right there. So we are coming up, it's a bottoming process that we're gauging. So we're now above the volume point of control of whatever this process is, whether it's a bottoming process or it's a big consolidate to continue lower zone. That's the center of mass, which we already identified, 28,890. Sorry, 28,990. My apologies. Now, we've poked our hairs above it. We're sitting on it right now. We're trying to get out of a sell signal state on a 5-minute chart. It's still a low quality trade to try the long here, but we've had a reversal that's strong. We're headed into the end of the hour. If shorts aren't working, they're going to get covered. And I'm going to try along above that volume profile node you see us coming up to and getting, so it's sitting at around 29,003 points. If we get above there, it's still not my ideal location, right? Ideally, like take the long above 29,050 points. If I want to take a short, I can take another short attempt on below this node, which is 965, which we're coming down to, which might end up being what I end up doing here because it is violently reversing. But this feels trappy to me. Okay, we've come down to it. We punched a hole through it again. I don't like it, but it may end up being what I get to work with into the end of the hour and have to deal with. So I'm late. I'm 10 points late. So again, if this bar goes green and keeps growing, I'll get out of the way. If we can come back down and eat into that tail, we're going to go lower than that tail if we eat into that tail further. So profit positive, good, good, good. I'm taking profit right here. As we come to the local low, we should now come down to the low here. For those who are in the short right now, be very careful because you're in a kill zone. When you're in a kill zone and you're at an area where it looks like it's going to drop off the edge of a cliff, it tends not to, right? It could eventually, but it tends not to. So be very, very careful with the maintenance of that short. And the best way is to have a mechanical already placed, go into your order types, go to your advanced order types, get your stop loss on. As you can see, I'm purely discretionary directional trading. I'm not using stops. I'm not using limit orders to enter or exit. I'm literally trying to come to you and provide the service of how many credible entry moments can I find that will likely work out. Ruth Ann, I caught that comment. I don't think I think I have a video in the weekly wealth chart intensives module that talks about volume profile. I think it was done late last year or mid last year, maybe. You'll have to just do a scroll through, but it's in the weekly wealth charts intensives module on Wealth Charts TV, the on-demand area. Okay, now I'm starting to go re-enter for the short is what I'm considering. I'm in. I need to see profit positivity right away. Pretty much done. Still not past my 10-second barrier. Now I am, but the trade's not going my way. So I'm out of the way. No, thank you. I'm going to take this up to, first principles on the day as we come into the end of the hour. We are in a zone where you've got support underneath price, falling resistance above it on a daily time frame. The NASDAQ came down and did some damage versus lows that we had back here. And we're in a sell signal state on the daily chart. The speed lines are bearishly configured. We have a range breaker on, above the top of the last closed bar, which was last Friday. All of this points to a market that is going to unravel. But we are in a week where the market has shown us quarter over quarter that it likes to hold up into Mag 7 stock earnings, do its little dance, which might not be as bullish this go around. And then if downside action is going to ensue, it's sell the news, after the rumor has been held, if not bought. So in as little words as possible, this market is likely to hold up into Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday in particular, even though it's got more on the surface and under the hood signals that would suggest it's going to unravel. I think the unravel is more likely to happen in the back end of the week. So back half of the week. So the daily chart's problematic, right? Until we see price action really above 29,250, 300 points, long side trades are going to be stressed. If we see action below 28,450, shorts are going to work out a lot better. Everything in between 29,250 down to 28,450 is a dangerous area where taking little pieces of the move make more sense. If we're stuck in this area post Wednesday, well, the signal's clear, it's down. I'd rather be shorting into the back end of the week. But that's for swing traders or traders with more duration. 4-hour chart is very clearly in a retrace, right? We ended the sell sequence. We're in a retrace to backtest the breakout forecasters, and we did backtest the last three. And we got whack-a-mole back down, and that happened this morning. But we didn't break the speed lines. We're at the lip where it can break at this moment on the 4-hour chart. And it is in a sell signal state. So is the 1-hour chart. And we're at the lip where it can break as well, which would be 890. And we are in a sell signal sequence on the 5-minute chart, on the 1-minute chart. So below 890, there's not too much argument, right? Short for a very short-term day trade, below 890, there's not too much argument for the short. We're at 910 right now, and we are at a local low area that is trying to be breached. If we come down below 890, I could try a little short duration trade for a whoosh down. And where am I trading it down to? I have to know that in advance. I'm not going to get any support structures off the 5-minute chart. Off the 1-hour chart, no, 890 is the breach line. Off the 4-hour chart, below 890, there's no support there. And then on the daily chart, support's all the way down in the 28,450 area. So that's not going to be very helpful. So I have to be more organic about my decision to take the trade, take profit if I take the trade. So we came very close to my executable line for short. We got down to 895. If we breach 895, I might consider taking it right there. And just be in the trade, for as long as it remains profit positive. But obviously, I haven't even taken it yet, right? It's not materialized. So as you get into the end of the hour, the questions that you have to ask yourself is, how is the market positioned from cash hours open? Okay, I would have to say it's net short. And we know that volume gets lopped off the market at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Eurozone closes, there are certain strategies that come off the tape, and volumes start to go down dramatically. So the positions that are in force that go away at 11, okay, are they net short? Yes. If we're not seeing progress to the downside, well, then they're going to cover, and we'll get this mechanical lift into the end of the hour. So it is a dangerous, moment in time. With the last 5 minutes before the end of the hour, I'm not seeing more down. We're in a sell signal state, but we're not going any lower. So my bet is that we're going to reverse back up. Now, could I capitalize on that? High risk, but I can try it. Very high risk. I'd rather see the shorts continue to milk it, and someone come in and, break the low, and I'll jump on the coattails of that short for maybe 10, 15 points and then get out of the way. But if we're not going lower, you'll see the positions that come off the tape at 11 a.m. that are still in force right now cover, and we'll get this mechanical rip up. Is it going to be dramatic? Probably not. I am still seeing folks in the chat tell me that there's some audio issues going on. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we reach that local low. Let's see if I can get a scalp out of it at least. I'm going to try it. Like I said, I would. Not ideal. And if it doesn't go lower faster, this is the type of trade that you want to just get the heck out of, because it can rip right back up because of what we're moving into the end of the day, into the end of the hour. So it's profit positive. It's working. Okay, getting a little whoosh down. Good. Thank you very much. And I'll take my 15 points or so, just like I said. Now, audio's crystal for the majority of the people that are writing back in. I'm trying to see if other folks are having issues still. I'm not seeing too many other issues. Okay, so folks, well, that's perfect. Okay, great. So thank you again. Thanks for indulging me on these, AV questions. We've got one of the largest audiences we've ever had joining in this market morning here. So I want to make sure that folks are having a good experience. Now, I want to summarize, what we've seen so far this market morning. What does it mean? Where is this market going? How is the market structure set up? It's a little different for the ES versus the NQ, but not dramatically different, right? We are in a sell signal state on the daily charts, the 4-hour charts, the 1-hour charts, and why is it important to have this multiple time frame view? The probability of the signal of each time frame throws its effect out for a number of hours, minutes, hours, days in front of it. A daily chart does so for the couple of weeks in front of it. A 4-hour chart covers the next 3 to 5 days. An hourly chart covers the next 3 to 6 hours. A 5-minute chart covers 20 to 90 minutes. And if I'm day trading the 5-minute chart using the 1 minute as an execution mechanism or triggering mechanism. And look at this, right? Right into the end of the hour, they're milking it, right? Someone came in and hammered things back down at 10:56. It could have been one or two stocks even that were just hammered down. And it could be the zero DTE options that are the tail wagging the dog that are doing that. At the end of the day, I don't still see a market that's in breakdown mode from the retrace overnight, but it certainly did not want to continue the retrace from overnight this market morning. It attempted to, right? We had an attempt, and that attempt abruptly failed. On the 9 a.m. bar, we got up and reversed right back down. And that happened we were rising until about 9:45-ish Eastern. Let me just make sure I'm correct on this. That's 8:25. That's 9:30 a.m. You saw me get some longs out and then tried long again. It didn't work. We just could not follow through. Right? And the big structure is 29,250 above price. And the big structure below price is 28,450. And we're at 28,900. And those structures are coming off the daily charts. Right now, you're looking at a 5-minute chart, which is in a sell signal state. And we did have this pre-trade conditioning pattern, which comes with the triple S indicator. You have an up, you have a down, you have an up, you have a down. They're not separated. Oh, yeah, I had a down here, actually. You need at least 3 signals, not separated by more than 6 bars. And then you need price action on the heels of the last signal, in this case down, price action below the MSR channel, for 1 bar with the double red dots or 2 bars sequentially moving lower, one after the other. And that pattern is there. And we got into stage 3 of a sell sequence using the Champion Trend Pack toolkit, right? You have your sell zone plaque appear at 10:05 a.m., right? This is after we've already pulled back down, but you're now getting that period where it says, okay, it's going to probably keep going. And then you had your Champion Cross indicator go live on the 10:10 a.m. bar with the dot at the bottom of the main chart. And that's the red opaque zone in the background. It's a little harder to see here. And then, of course, we saw a little wobble, came up to the top of the channel, was even considering longs. Remember, we were talking about 925 and then 950. Oh, sorry, 29,025 points, 29,050 points. We got 1 long out, but we couldn't get the other one out. And you saw me take my money off the table. And then down we've come, okay, into the end of the hour. We saw a wealth signal. We saw breakout forecasters. Speed lines are configured bearishly. Everything that I can see on the 5-minute chart says that we're in stage 3 of the sell sequence. But we're in a market week that I don't think is going to be let go of. I don't think the market's going to be let go of until guidance from earnings comes into the mix and bigger players start to make, much clearer directional bets. Because we've already seen the NASDAQ sell down. It's been selling down for a while now. Really since that high back here in the middle of June. Right, we had that dip, of course. We came right back up, and that middle of June down has been more selling than buying, and we're in a sell signal state there. The NASDAQ has been damaged to the point where it needs very, very over-indexed good news from earnings, and of course a reduction in the geopolitical negative environment to turn things around. And I don't know if we're going to get that. I don't think we're going to get something that's sustainable. I don't think we're going to get something that's sustainable. But here you go, folks. The very high level review here. I think I'll do it on this chart that just has the lines levels on it. And we can look at it on both fronts, the ES and the NQ. And then we'll take a quick few minutes of a breather. And then we're going to come back and answer your questions. and of course, provide you more with market outlook and any other trades that I see during that time. Let's do this with the NASDAQ to begin with here, as it's the primary traded vehicle for most folks these days. So what do we know? Now, are we in a late stage uptrend? It's only been up for a few months. It takes about 6 to 8 months of a rising, pulling back, rising again, for it to be a late stage uptrend. It was a very aggressive up move from the back end of March, beginning of April. And we've moved into what one could consider a consolidation zone or a topping zone, right? Consolidation zone, consolidate to continue and break out and to 32,000 and beyond, that kind of thing, or a topping zone where the floor breaks and we end up retracing all the way back down to the launch area, and all of that good that was done over here, goes away. Now, which of the two is it? Market statistics would tell you that this is not a mature uptrend, right? We've already had, there's a very clear case in point here. Let me just show it to you. And you can see this on the S&Ps. You can see this on the NASDAQ. It's all the same at the end of the day. All I'm doing is pulling the chart back to give you an idea. Now, this is just one data point, but you can go back and do this work yourself if you so choose to. From the lows in the tariff tumble, the secondary low that we got, which is, I think, like April the 21st of 2025, up to the high. So let's just call it, let's just call it April. Okay, so from April all the way to November, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, okay, all the way to the beginning of November, 7 months. It's somewhere between 6 to 8 months where if you've got rises without pullbacks that are more than several percentage points, you're in that rise. And this works similarly for the way down, but especially on the way up. If you're rising and you're not seeing pullbacks that are much greater than 3% on the trend up, and it lives a lifespan of somewhere between, somewhere after 6 months and before 8 months, that's considered late stage. Why is that important? A late stage uptrend usually lands in a topping zone, not a consolidate to continue zone. So, I brought this up before. I'll bring it up again. If this part of the move, which includes, minor pullbacks, consolidate, continue, if this takes 6 to 8 months, then the next time that you go into one of these sideways ranges, it's a topping zone. We have not had 6 to 8 months, right? So the consideration here should be for this to be a consolidate to continue higher zone. And we're at the bottom of the zone. That's the idea. Okay. Now, that's not as much about day trading. It's about the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture at the end of the day is we're near significant lows that we have bounced up off of or broken out above into new highs. That happened back here in May, and roughly back tested it here middle of May, certainly defined it here early to mid-June, resisted the attempt to unravel early July, but we still did come down mid-July to test this area. It's roughly 28,500 to 400, and we've held it, and we're trying to get our footing to go back up. I think that it's more likely to do so, especially in a week where the market is clearly facing AI stock headwinds, especially from markets abroad from North America, like South Korea, for example, and geopolitical risks at the same time are in play, and we still haven't broken down. We have not taken out the lows. Now, we're not at 28,400. We reversed off of that area on Friday. And that to me is telling. What is it telling me? It's telling me that you're probably in a market that is trying to consolidate to continue. So my expectation is that we try to rise up towards this set of red lines here, which are the volume points of control coming from all of these nested histograms. I've got a cleaner version of this chart right here somewhere. I'll pull that up to make it more crystal clear. So bigger picture is if we can sustain, and this is the same stuff I said at the very beginning of the session. I'm just bookending the morning. above 29,000 and about 100 points, 80 points, we are more likely to rise up into this concrete ceiling of resistance, which is specifically set at 29,650 to the 850-ish area. Okay, so this is going to be a problematic area to get through, but if we're above 29,080 points, it's not hard to get to. Right, so there can be some good long side trades in that expanse. Call it 29,100 points up to 650. Okay, that's a pretty decent zone for long side trades to potentially materialize. Of course, one wants to be very careful about when to execute. But each time you start looking at this and you go, every signal, daily chart, 4-hour chart, 1-hour chart, they're all in cells. Why is this thing not breaking down? Look left. And remember the narrative here. We're not in a late stage uptrend. It's been uptrending since the end of March. Well, up until about May, middle of May. So that's definitely not late stage. And then it's moved into a consolidation type pattern, which would statistically lean to consolidate and continue higher. And there it is. So we've already, gone well through 11 a.m. So I'm not going to take a break here. What I will do is start entertaining questions. So, feel free to throw your questions into the chat. I'm not going to go back and scroll up and look for them. So you're more than welcome to re-enter them into the chat now. And I'm going to try to catch them and keep my eyes on the chat. And of course, do my best to answer your question. And it could be questions that relate to other securities, analytics requests on individual stocks, trading tactic, how to use a tool, where to find things. But I'm seeing, some trades materialize in front of me right now that I might want to take. So I am here to do that. And I am going to try one right here, right now on the long side. I want to just see us get through this water line. Let me just make sure I've got it pulled across the screen here so you can see it. Okay, so the water line is 29,000. It's a volume profile histogram set from about 9:58 a.m. Eastern time. I'm not taking the long until we're above that red line right there, 29,000 from here, right? For those who took the long on the ride up to it, amazing. Okay, if we get through that line, I can try a long from there. And because it's going to start eating into more, I am going to start the histogram a little earlier at 9:57 a.m. Eastern time. So 29,000 pretty much flat needs to be breached for me to try a long. Right now, it's going to be acting like a ceiling. And for those who are, questioning the bigger picture outlook from the S&P E-mini standpoint, I'm going to do that work for you in just a second. But let me just turn my attention to the chat. So Arthur, that's a great question. The place that I would go to learn on demand within Wealth Charts about the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit is as follows. Let me just take you there right now, because I think that'll help a lot of new folks out as well. There is multi-time frame insight there as well. So I would go to, but I'm trying to remember exactly where my multi-time frame video is. What I would do is I'd go to the hamburger menu. I would go over to education. Okay, so once you've clicked on that, select Wealth Charts TV, okay, and bring that onto your dashboard wherever it's relevant for you to put on. Okay, and look at the very top left module there. The very top left module there says Wealth Charts Prop Trader Training. Okay, so in that module, you'll see a bunch of videos, like Rob's recent video on the resumption trade, excellent to watch. You'll see my video that breaks the Champion Trend Pack toolkit down into individual pieces, and it runs through examples. So this video over here takes you kind of from zero to hero on the toolkit, and it includes things like the speed lines, the Spike 2.0 tool. Those kind of things are included in there. So I'll just kind of show you that. So you'll see some familiarity in the slides. And you'll see me, break out the indications into their stages, and then you'll see me doing textbook examples of it, and then you'll see me doing live examples of it. I think I did them on the simulator, and I think I might have done some trades as well in my prop accounts in this video as well. But you'll see all of that kind of stuff happening in this video, and you'll also get the opportunity to learn a little bit about things like the Spike 2.0 tool, which works very well with the Champion Trend Pack Toolkit. You'll learn a little bit about the speed lines and how they work together. So, you know, there are distinct sections on that in this video. So thank you for that question. I think it'll help a lot of folks. So there's your answer. And let me see. Mark, I think we're still in flight path A. I think we're in flight path A. So I'm still allied to that. And that's why you hear me continuously saying, hey, I think we're in a market it's a odd duck, this type of market. You've got sell signals ready to go. You're at the bottom of a zone. You came down to that zone at the end of last week for the NASDAQ in particular, not the ES necessarily, right? We came down to the bottom of that zone and we've held it. And we're trying to retrace back up. So far, it's an inside day. We haven't really breached the highs from Friday. We haven't breached the lows. And then if you look at the primary market, which is not in control of the tape, the NASDAQ's in control of the tape. That's why I'm focused on it with you here. The primary market did not come down and challenge June 9th, 10th, 11th lows. It too is trying to retrace. It came up exactly to the volume point of control line that you've heard me preach about for the last 2 months, a month and a half at least, the 75.55 line. All right, there were two lines, 29,820 on the NQ and 75.55 on the ES. And they haven't really changed. So we've come up to it. We got whack-a-mole back down from it. And it probably is a result of we had geopolitics heat up a little bit and then cool off. And now they probably heated up again. Let's go take a look at the direction of oil. Yeah, it's off its lows. It's not dramatic. Yeah, oil did have a little turn back up, and it's not relenting. I'm just looking at it on a 5-minute time frame, right? So geopolitics heated up. We saw the news over the weekend. Oil started off stronger. It didn't really trend higher. It plateaued. And as we saw oil come down in the overnight session from about 3 a.m. onwards, we saw the market try to get off the floor and rise, right? It is the geopolitical stuff that is in control of the tape affecting first and foremost the NASDAQ, because the NASDAQ's got a double whammy. AI stock headwind, Mag 7 stock potential headwind and problems, and tethers to markets outside of North America where there's problems. And then, of course, sensitivity to the geopolitical environment. So this little jump up in oil didn't really break the retrace that the market's been attempting to run through, but it didn't help. And you can look at it on just a plain clothes 5-minute chart here with some volume profile histograms and our weekly pivot levels superimposed. All right, that's around 2-3 a.m. Markets were going up, oil was going down. Okay, now oil is kind of plateaued, and the market lost its footing at around 9:45 on this retracement back up, but it has not quit. My expectation is that you're going to see it attempt to come back up towards the highs of the session and continue to grind up towards this ceiling that I've identified for you at 29,650 to 850. And my expectation would be similar for the ES, obviously different numbers. The ES, I'm more comfortable looking for long side trades that can sustain for minutes to an hour or hours to a day above 75.32. 75.32, but they can start as early as 22. Everything below 22 should be treated as more scalp or very short duration. That would be the idea, at least. And if I wanted to trade the ES right now, I wouldn't. Not on the long or the short side. The earliest trade that I think I would take would be around somewhere between 21 and 23, 22. Probably is still the right number. And we're at 16 at this moment in time. So above 22, long side trades, above 32, they solidify. Up to the highs of the session or higher. I think that we can come up to 75.55 again. That's the idea. I don't know if we'll punch through it. Let's see if I can answer some more questions here. So bear with me for a moment as I just look through the chat. So Vivian, you have a question. When you have a sell zone and some red bars, and then you get a small green bar, the green bar, blue dot above it, what does that mean as compared to the, oh, okay, all right. So if you're exclusively looking through the lens of the Champion Trend Pack toolkit, right, there's 5 indications. I'm using the Champion Trend Pack and I'm using the Triple S toolkit. So there's dots with both, right? The Champion Trend Pack toolkit has got 2 types of dots, which is the cyan or blue dot, which is the range breaker. And it's also got that orange ball, which is wealth signal. Okay. Now the Triple S toolkit comes with double red dots or single, double red dots, double green dots, and single blue dots. When you got the double red dots, the sell signal state is still in force. If it's cooling off, you get a single blue dot. So what we've got over here is a triple S indicator that is trying to move into a buy signal. Well, it has moved into a buy signal state. It did at 11:17 a.m. And you can see that little blue dot underneath here. That's range breaker. So we are now in a buy zone from the Champion Trend Pack toolkit, not a sell zone. And we've got a range breaker. That blue dot underneath the bar says we're likely going to break the range. So I'm looking for a long, exactly as I described to you earlier. I use volume profile as well to help me with it, right? I need to know that I'm through that ceiling. It's like getting up to the rooftop garden where there's a party and we're trying to get up to the top floor and open the door to the roof, but we haven't done it yet. All right, we tried over here when I was talking about it a little earlier, but we didn't get there. That's when I put that volume profile, pulled the volume profile histogram across the screen more, and we're trying again right now. We haven't gotten there either. So not interested in taking the trade at this moment. But let me find an example. You know, when you're seeing that blue dot appear in a sell zone, let's see if we can find one here, right there. So green bar, blue dot, that's the range breaker. You're likely going to break local support is what that means when you get the range breaker. You're likely going to break local support. So there's your answer there. Andy, that's an easy question to answer. So let me knock that off right away. How do you get the position time on the screen? So Wealth Charts had so many amazing updates recently. I know that finding things might be hard, but there's a great search, right? So you can go to the hamburger menu and you can type search in and you'll find either a very quick video, but I'm going to just directly show you. Top right-hand side of your execution window, you see a little up and down button. This little configuration menu here. You open that up and you'll see toggle buttons here. One of the toggle buttons is position time indicator. Okay, so when it's blue, it's on. Okay, so you can toggle it to blue and it'll be on. So if I take a trade, for example, let me just close this off right now. It will automatically, this is not a, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes only. I'm not expecting much out of it. So I've got that toggled on, position timer's there, and then you can manipulate the position timer and move it around to suit you as needed while you're executing. Let me just get out of the way. Hey, ended up being a little profit, which is nice, but the trade that I want to take is coming up. That maybe should have stayed in that one because it's getting closer and closer to the line that I want to actually that line is now moved down slightly. You can see it moving as volume and price move forward. It's moved down to 890. So technically we are at the line. We're at the rooftop garden door. And now we're opening the door and trying to walk through it for the party to continue. That's effectively what it's trying to do at this stage. So the long side trade is valid. Now this candle is a breakout candle. Resumptions are better than breakouts. Okay. But I'd have to say that this is still early in a sequence. So I'm willing to try it. I'm going to try it next above 29,000 and about 7 to 10 points. And see if I can get another trade-off before the end of the session. But I do certainly want to make sure that I am, and exactly, Andy, that'll be helpful when you're trading with props that are, have a time requirement, right, or criteria. Certainly that will help. I know that there were more questions, so I'm doing my best to look through the chat and trying to find them, so bear with me. I see lots of lively comments in the chat. Keeping it professional will keep you focused. Just want to make sure that folks hear that from me. All right, so my trade, I'm late. I'm going to try it still. So it's on your screen right now. So I'll keep it in force for a bit here. The ES is at 22. So the opportunity to try it on the ES is there as well. Okay, so I just want to make sure that folks see it. So another profitable trade executed right live in front of you, identified. I'm taking some profit because we're headed into the end of our time together over here, and I want to lock it down. And I want to make sure that I still get through the questions that I can find in the chat. So Tim M, I think you asked, best time frame to use for the. I don't think there's one best time frame to use. I think it's the approach of multiple time frames that is what makes the difference. What you've seen me do is effectively go through from bigger time frame down to smaller time frame, right? The bigger the time frame, the stronger the signal and technical tracks that we're operating off of. Now, we might not be close to those structures, so as we whittle down the time frames, you'll see price action engaging with more of the structures. But in this case, it engaged with the daily chart's fast speed line, perforated it, came to the bottom of the MSR channel, faced resistance there, and got pushed back down. All right, so right now, we've got resistance at 29,045 points coming from the daily chart, which is the value of the fast speed line. Okay, let's go and see what the 4-hour chart says. Where's the resistance structure on the 4-hour chart? Well, it's the bottom of the MSR channel, top of the champion cross sell zone. It's at 29,165. Okay, so 29,045 up to 29,165 could be a long side trading zone. All right, we're at 29,000 right now. There's still about 45 points before we get to the first resistive structure that we identified on the biggest time frame. Let's go to the hourly chart. Well, can I take a trade long from where we are right now? Well, the hourly chart says, well, wait for it to get above 29,000, about 22, 25 points, and room opens up to the champion trend sell zone trail line, which is very close to the resistive structure on the 4-hour chart here. Around the mid 160s, the 1-hour chart's champion trend sell zone trail line is sitting in the low 170s. So if I wanted to craft a plan for a long side trade, the optimal long side trade would be above 29,045 points to trade up to 29,165 to 70-ish area. And that's by looking backwards in time frame and then coming back down to now. Now, of course, the 5-minute chart is going to give you guidance, right? It's going to tell you, hey, look, if I want to take the trade below 29,045 points, I at least want to be above structures of resistance on the 5-minute chart, because that is the chart that I'm trading. And the resistance structure is sitting at 29,000 and about 20 odd points. So above there, I can look for a long. Am I in a buy signal state on a 5-minute chart? Not cleanly. Nope. Triple S is in a buy. Double green dots are there. I'm not above the MSR channel. I am above the volume point of control of this process since the market came down and decided it wanted to go lower, but not really. So I'm okay trying along here, but is it optimal? No. Is it optimal above 29,000 and 25 points? Nope. It's not optimal there either. It becomes more optimal above 29,045 points, which is where the biggest time frame that I look at has a clear resistive structure. 29,045, you can see that's the value of the fast speed line. I hope that adds a little bit more definition to. So it's not about the best time frame. The multi-time frame approach is meant to help you identify structures and signals from highest importance to relevance for execution right now. That's the objective at the end of the day. And it can be helpful. It's a lot. That's why I'm not putting it on as so many folks are here. But you see me bring up the ES chart. This has got the triple S indicator. It's got the MSR channel. It's got the speed lines, and it's got a daily chart, a 4-hour, a 1-hour, a 5-minute, and a 1-minute. Right. So I can, at a glance, go, hey, am I above support of the center of the daily chart channel? Yep. Am I below resistance? Yep, which is sitting at around 39. And I'm above 06, 07, which is support. Okay, am I above support here? It's at 11. Am I below resistance? Yeah, it's at around 35. Okay, so there's a pocket here that I could trade up to, but I still have to get through structures of resistance on the 1 hour chart. And look, if I'm above the speed lines and in the upper half of the MSR channel, I could give it a go. And that's why you heard me say, at the onset of our trade review section of this market morning, that if I want to go long, it's going to be above 75.22 on the ES, and it will solidify, you would have heard me say that, above 32, right? That would be the idea. And Frank, I'm glad that was a good explanation. I'm trying to make it as clean as I can so that it's useful, right? And we're at the end of the session right now, Tom L. But on my next session, we can try the trade copier, sure. I don't have an issue with that. And I think we will kind of end our market morning right where it is right now, folks. Did you have a good time, folks? Were you able to get some productivity out of this morning? Whether it was learning and earning. Feel free to let me know. If it was good for you, you can put your lucky number 7 in the chat, or you can type in the letter Y. If it was bad for you, I want to know. I want to know what I can do. And I'm, of course, always open to constructive criticism and suggestions to help make the experience more useful. I try to think about what do I want if I was sitting and listening to someone that is going to keep me focused on what I should be focused on, constantly looking for opportunities and then taking them, grading them, taking them, grading them, taking them, identifying, go through the process, grading them, trading them. So it's, it all is about measure, judge, execute, right? And there you go, folks. All right. Well, thank you. I'm really happy to see results are there as well. I see folks putting in some of their results for the market morning as well. So good on you. I'm going to bring our market morning to a close over here, folks. Thank you for taking the time to be with me. We'll see you tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. in this same format here tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of your trading day. For those who I'm not going to see and those who I will see, I'll see you on Wealth Charts at around noon. Bye for now, everyone. And thank you for taking the time to be here again. I hope you had a great morning with us.